Hello there gorgeous gamers, and welcome back to Pure Play TV for another video review. This time we're looking at Wildfire, which is out now for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and PC. It's also playable on PS5 and Xbox Series XS via backwards compatibility, and we've tested Wildfire running on a PS5. A code was provided by the publisher. I'm going to try not to wax nostalgic about the good old days like I usually do when I'm reviewing a game that uses retro-inspired pixel graphics. But it's not going to be easy, considering Wildfire from Sneaky Bastard Studio managed to remind me of my three favourite video games from my very first console, the original Nintendo. And how a developer managed to create a game that somehow took me back to my love of 8-bit Metal Gear, Dragon Warrior and Bionic Commando is absolutely crazy. And the fact it isn't some kind of drug-induced fever dream may be the craziest thing of all. This might make more sense later, or it might not, but let's move on before this gets any weirder. Before we do carry on, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and don't forget the bell icon so you're the first to know when we've got new stuff. Cheers my dears. Wildfire is set in a fantasy world where the magic has all but died out. You play as a young woman who spotted a meteor crashing from the sky while out collecting a chicken for her village's festival. The problem is, the oppressing local forces of the Archduchess spotted it too. Our hero arrives at the meteor just ahead of the bad guys, and, as Stan Lee has taught us, all crashed meteors give us superpowers. The powers in this case are elemental in nature, which is especially terrifying for the villainous and superstitious regime of the Archduchess. This is the kind of group that screams "Witch!" whenever they see something they don't understand, and their torches are never far away. Right on cue, when these guys see what our hero can do, they burn down her village and kidnap her people. So, now it's up to you to harness all of the powers of the elements to sneak through each level, using the environment to your advantage as you try to rescue your fellow townsfolk and bring this oppressive regime to justice. When I first saw the artwork and screenshots for Wildfire, I was expecting a medieval world like the Dragon Warrior and Zelda games of my youth. What I got instead is a side-scrolling stealth action game closer to Metal Gear than The Legend of Zelda. You have no guns, of course, but you can wield fire and water like a bipolar pyromaniac. As you level up, you'll get the power to grab and throw fire, freeze water, or even rise to new heights by travelling in water bubbles. That's not as weird as it sounds. Okay, maybe it is. If you meet certain criteria and manage to fill the shrines that you find in each level with either fire or water, you can upgrade that corresponding power at the end of the level. These levels are surprisingly short but can be played in a multitude of ways, which is part of the fun. The levels practically beg to be replayed as they have a ton of secondary objectives that will increase your score. Each level has a main objective like rescue at least 2 of your townsfolk or simply make it out alive, but the optional objectives are where the points are. These change for each level and range from burning 90% of the foliage on the screen to not killing any bad guys or not being seen at all. There is plenty more, including beating the level in under a certain amount of time. To that point, I think Wildfire will be a hit with speedrunners. That doesn't apply to me though. I played as stealthily as I could, and I usually only killed by accident. The evil forces in the game really don't like fire, and I shouldn't be held liable if they fall off a cliff because they were scared witless by a little grass fire. Okay, maybe it wasn't so little, but a raging inferno. The levels are old school beautiful, with grass that you can hide in, vines that you can climb, cliffs you can hang from and shimmy across, and almost all of it is flammable. I remember a particular scene where the ocean waves are breaking against this giant mountain and thinking about how this would have sent my 10-year-old imagination racing. I wish I could have played it then, but I'm glad I get to play it now. I did, however, get to play it very briefly with my son via the couch co-op feature, so if you have a gaming buddy at home, this is another great reason to pick this one up. The pace of the game is super fast and kept me playing longer than I expected every time I booted it up. The game isn't overly long, but I had a lot of fun sneaking my way through this fantastic world. I'm surprised that a 2D side-scrolling setting works as a stealth action game, but give Sneaky Bastards credit because it absolutely does. Plus, it turns out it really is fun to play with fire. And that's the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful in some way. If you did, you know what to do. Go down, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and give the bell a little tickle so that you get notified whenever we've got new stuff for you to watch. I've been Chris, you've been lovely. Don't actually play with fire. Until next time, bye.